Good morning and welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be talking about where do devil fruits come from. Let's go! Okay, so devil fruits, what are they and where do they come from pretty much? Let's start off with the life cycle of a said devil fruit. Now the life cycle of a devil fruit is really simple to understand. Basically, there are these things called devil fruits, and then when a human or a person or an animal, in Chopper's case, he's a reindeer, he ate Hito no Mi, and he obviously gained the powers of a human. We'll take that into consideration, but we're drawing away from the topic. You eat the fruit, it gives you a power. When you die, the power leaves your body, or essence, so to speak, like what they discuss in NS Lobby, and pretty much the essence goes back into a nearby fruit, it seems, but other people do differ and say they go into certain different types of fruits, mainly for the reason that they've got an encyclopedia of all the different types of devil fruits that are out there. Now, that is the bottom line. So the devil fruit becomes in circulation once again. This is a case of Smiley when we've actually seen this actually happen. Smiley is like the Shibokuni or Shabokuni. It's that gas that managed to actually gain the power of the Sala fruit model axolotl and pretty much gave him the ability to be an axolotl. It's a Zoan type devil fruit, so obviously gives them the power to turn into an animal. Now, that being the case, when Smiley actually dies, when he actually eats that candy ball thing, he pretty much dies, and the devil fruit essence, so to speak, actually goes back into an apple, which is nearby Smiley. Now, this could be any type of fruit, and it could be the patterns which determines what a devil fruit actually is, so to speak, kind of like a fingerprint. But that's another one up for debate. Now, talking about devil fruits in the circulation sense, that means Smiley's axolotl devil fruit is now able to be eaten and used once again by another user. Unfortunately, you're not able to eat multiple types of devil fruits, otherwise it is said in the NS Lobby arc that you will die, because the two devils inside the devil fruits will fight each other and make you pretty much explode. That's why one of the CP9 members was so scared of actually having devil fruits near him, because he thought that they would make him explode. But for that instance, it is literally just consuming two devil fruits at a time. Now, talking about devil fruits in that sense, when you actually eat a devil fruit, if you ate it at the exact same time as someone else, it'll pretty much give it to the person who literally bites it first. So if I ate the fruit, then my friend ate the fruit, I would gain the power, they would just have a rotten fruit tasting fruit. But that being the case, let's move on to where devil fruits are found. Devil fruits are found where most commonly in the Grand Line. There are a few dotted in some of the blues. This is where most of the supernovas actually come from, and some are actually found in the sky, like the Rumble fruit and the Horse fruit. Now these ones can be explained away, as in the actual devil fruits could be knocked up through the knock-up stream, or pirates had these powers and then they died up in the Sky Islands and it went to a nearby fruit. Now the ones in the blues are most likely ones that have just literally been managed to actually get out of the Grand Line, but most predominantly devil fruits are found within the Grand Line. Now this gives rise to the belief that the Ancient Kingdom theory, that the devil fruits actually come from the Ancient Kingdom. Now, I do actually like this idea of the actual devil fruits coming from the Ancient Kingdom, and I will touch on this right at the end because I have my own little theory about it and I would like to discuss it. But I was watching Flying Panda's video, and he did this like a couple of years ago or a year ago, I can't really remember off the top of my head, but he did a video on where devil fruits actually could come from, and it could come from the Ancient Kingdom performing human sacrifices. And I liked the idea of it, so they performed human sacrifices in order to create certain devil fruits, and he touched on how smiles could be created in the same way, as in they're taking and killing sacrificing the essence of an animal and then forcing it into a fruit, or in this case the sad is the essence of multiple different animals, and then it just drains into the tree and then gets grown into the fruit for the tontata. Now, I do like this theory, and Flying Panda does a really good way of actually explaining it, and I really did actually start to subscribe to this theory, but then I came up with my own theory and now I believe my own theory. But it's a really good theory nonetheless. I actually like it because it kind of goes back to like ancient times of like the Mayans and that, like performing human sacrifice in our real world. So this could be an actual thing in the One Piece world. You never know, because there are so many types of ways things have been done, such as the Shandorians had a human sacrificing thing in order to actually appease like the gods and protect them. Now let's get on to Dr. Vegapunk. Now Dr. Vegapunk is known as 500 years more advanced than anyone else, and he's supposed to be the smartest man alive. Pretty much he has worked out the formula in order to create devil fruits. Now, he's able to actually incorporate some devil fruit powers like Kizaru's Pika Pika no Mi inside the actual pacifistas, and along with that he's been able to fuse Zoan type devil fruits into inanimate objects. This hasn't been done with Paramecia type devil fruits, but I would like to see this actually happening. Now, these types of things, such as this, gives rise to the belief that he's forcing some form of essence or spirit into the actual objects in question and giving them these powers. Now, the laser beams from the pacifistas can be easily explained away, as he is 500 years more advanced. He probably has worked out how to actually produce actual real life lasers, which is able to imitate Kizaru's light fruit. Well, glint fruit, however you want the translation to be, or the Pika Pika no Mi. But that being the case, the actual Funk Freed, this could be somewhat explained to the point of he actually had the elephant fruit and somehow managed to force it into the blade. So devil fruit plus object equals Funk Freed. But that being the case, how would he go about doing this? Now, they state in One Piece that the devil fruits are devils inside them, and they pretty much are a spirit of a devil. This is why they take so many types of different abilities, because demons or devils have some different types of attributes of performing different types of spells all across mythology, and that is one of those things where I can't really explain all too well because I'm not super knowledgeable on that, but I would just like to throw that in there. Now, how would Dr. Vegapunk actually pretty much put devil fruit powers into an object? It would go along the lines of the way of the sad would. Now, if you took this as a smile devil fruit, as Funk Freed was an elephant, imagine if he got the essence of the sad of just an elephant and was able to inject that into a blade. Now, this could be done in multiple different ways by literally just soaking the blade inside the actual sad and then that absorbs it. Or another case would be with the fruit, it absorbs it that way. So it's some form of absorption that actually produces this power. So they're obviously creating some sort of containment unit in order to actually fuse the actual devil fruits or the smiles in the actual fruits case into an actual object, so to speak. Which then gives the ability of being able to produce a Zoan power. Now, obviously Funk Freed and the smiles are completely different things because they are actual fruit that you can eat and then gain powers, such as the smiles give you like the ability of a half-assed Batman, so to speak, whereas the Funk Fried sword can literally turn into an elephant. So this gives me the idea that the elephant fruit was a pure devil fruit, and somehow the essence of that devil fruit was given to Funk Fried. Now this could have been done in multiple different ways, where the blade would have had to cut the devil fruit first. They had grinded it up or something along those lines and made it absorb the powers. We don't know as of yet, but it has been stated that someone in the near future will be telling us all about how devil fruits work, so this is why I would like to actually speculate on this. Now, I have a little theory of my own, and that is the Ancient Kingdom. Now, the Ancient Kingdom, we do not know a hell of a lot about them, only about Joy Boy and all that type of stuff. Now, the Ancient Kingdom was said to be pretty advanced, because they actually had the three main weapons of Uranus, Pluton and Poseidon. These main weapons seem to differ, but they all create some form of destruction or ability of being able to perform some massive feats, such as Poseidon, or Shirahoshi in our case. She was actually able to communicate with the Sea Kings, and now obviously Sea Kings are actual massive monsters, fish type things, that can actually destroy quite a lot of things because they're so gargantuanly huge. Now this gives her the ability to actually destroy most things, and I would like to discuss about Pluton. And Pluton is said to be a warship that could literally just blow out an island. No need to even use a busticle, you just need Pluton. Boom, island gone. You don't even need to worry. That is said to be a warship that could literally just destroy an island off the face of the earth. Now, we come to think of this as... Now, we come to think of the ancient weapons to be some form of immense one-off item. Now, what happens if, Uranus turns out to be literally the devil fruits, or the creation of the devil fruits? Now, I'm not saying this is my theory, but I would just like to chuck it in there and let you ponder on it for a little while. Now, my theory is, when the Ancient Kingdom was wiped out by the world government, or the Tenryubito, I like to believe a little theory I have of when they were being wiped out, the Ancient Kingdom were the quintessential masters of haki. So when they were dying, they were pretty much using all of their willpower. So armament, observation, King's haki, all that stuff. And we know King's haki is really rare as well. I know that for obviously. It's 1 in a million people have King's haki. This is a good idea of actually how devil fruits could actually come into play. We have 3 different categories of devil fruits that we actually have. We have Logia, we have Paramecia, and we have Zoan. And Zoan powers and observation powers, this is actually where I actually start to question it. Because when it comes to haki, we have 3 as well. So we have King's haki, armament haki, and observation haki. Now let's think of this way. When they were all being dying, when the Ancient Kingdom were being destroyed, they would want their will to live on. This is why they created the poneglyphs. Now, and most people believe that the will of D is something to do tied with the Void Century or the Ancient Kingdom. Now, I do actually subscribe to this, and I really do. And the will of D, and it kind of gives me the idea that the devil fruits are the incarnation of the will of D, meaning that the Ancient Kingdom, they endowed all of their will into a certain object, such as a fruit. There is this massive trees, and they could have actually imbued all of their willpower into an object, so to speak. And it makes me get the idea that Paramecia is the power of observation endowed into a fruit of one of the people from the Ancient Kingdom, or Armament Haki is the power, it gives the actual Zoan powers, and King's Haki, because it's 1 in a million, gives the power of Logias. This is why Logias could be so rare, and this is why I love this little theory that I came up with, because it explains somewhat how Logias are really rare, and Observation Haki and Armament Haki are pretty bog standard. Like, most people can use Armament Haki, so that's why Zoans can be really common. And then you've got Paramecias, which are a mismatch of different things, and Observation kind of ties in with that. That's the one that's the most loosely bound, but I kind of like to subscribe to this. Now, when we're discussing mythical Zoans or special Paramecia type Devil Fruits, these could have been like the next stage of Haki in those forms. So I do actually subscribe to the theory that you can upgrade your Armament Haki to such an extent where it just overpowers someone else's Armament Haki. Such as when Smoker is fighting Virgo, Virgo is a higher Armament Haki level than Smoker and was able to pretty much dispatch him. Now, this gives me the idea that the Will of D is a shortening for the devils, like the devil fruit. The people who carry the Will of D are the enemies of the world government, basically. And you would think that in their last, the Ancient Kingdom in their last stance actually produced this ultimate weapon of different powers that could one day carry on their will in a essence, as you will, in an object, and people can use these wills to actually fight back against the world government. That is what the baseline of my little theory is actually about, and I currently really love it. And tell me what you guys think on this, because I really do like this idea and I do actually subscribe to it. So the actual world, so to summarise, the world government tried to wipe out the Ancient Kingdom. The Ancient Kingdom, in a last-ditch effort, endowed all of their willpower or Haki into an object such as a fruit, giving the powers of devil fruits into existence, carrying on the Will of D throughout the ages, because they will reincarnate. No matter what happens, they reincarnate and the Will of D carries on. Or the Will of the Devil Fruit. That being the case, guys, have a lovely rest of the day, and please leave your comments down in the comment section down below. Would love to hear what you guys think of this. That being the case, have a lovely rest of the day.